What if you are told that the truth is, the world isn't cruel for cruelty's sake? It's simply run by those who understand the rules that polite people ignore. To survive here, you don't have to stop being kind, but you do have to protect that kindness with strategy. Kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Empathy without awareness turns into submission. There comes a quiet moment in every kind person's life. That quiet click of awareness when you finally realize that kindness doesn't always protect you. You've spent years doing what you were told, playing fair, waiting patiently, doing good without expecting anything in return. You believed that if you stayed genuine and worked hard, the world would somehow recognize it. But one day, as you look around, you start to see something painful. The louder, bolder, and often emptier people seem to move ahead, while you're left behind, holding all the right intentions. It's not that you were weak, it's that you were raised to believe the world was fair. You were taught that virtue was a guarantee, that decency would return to you in time. But the world is not a mirror, it's a maze. And once that truth sinks in, something inside you shifts not into bitterness, but into a sharper kind of clarity. You start to notice the patterns you once ignored. You see how charm wins more than honesty, how confidence outshines competence, how the world quietly bends toward those who understand human psychology better than those who simply follow morality. The world doesn't reward innocence, it rewards awareness. The sooner you accept that, the sooner your pain begins to turn into quiet strength. Because what once hurt you starts to make sense. The betrayals, the disappointments, the moments of invisibility, they weren't punishments, they were lessons in human nature. And when you finally see the game for what it is, you stop taking things personally and start moving intentionally. For most of your life, you've been told to play fair, to wait for good things to come, to trust that justice would eventually find its way to you. But fairness is not a law of the universe. It's a social contract that people abandon the moment it stops serving them. Every time you waited for your turn, someone else took it. Every time you explained your worth, you unknowingly confessed your uncertainty. Every time you stayed kind to those who disrespected you, you taught them that your silence was permission. There's a different kind of intelligence that grows in you once you stop needing to be liked. It sounds simple, but it feels like tearing something out of your skin. Because for years, being liked was your safety. You learned to soften your tone, to hide your edges, to make yourself easier to love. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You gave second chances to people who only came back to take more. You let them think your forgiveness was endless because you were afraid that setting boundaries meant losing love. But people don't respect what they can easily predict, and likability is predictable. Real respect begins the moment someone realizes they cannot read you anymore. That your presence is a choice, not a dependency. When you no longer chase approval, approval begins to find you. When you stop defending yourself, your silence speaks for you. And when you stop explaining your boundaries, the world starts recalibrating around your energy. There's beauty in that quiet transformation. Your kindness is no longer a weakness, but a strength you control. you become both gentle and unyielding, a paradox that unsettles those who once took you for granted. And then comes the colder, but liberating truth. Control your emotions, or someone else will. The world is filled with people who can't master themselves, and they're easily controlled by those who can. True power is not found in domination, but in composure. It's that slow breath you take when someone provokes you, and instead of reacting, you observe. Every time you react, you hand someone the remote control to your peace. Emotional control isn't about becoming numb. It's about becoming wise. You still feel everything: anger, sadness, frustration. But you learn to pause before you act. You respond, not react. And when you do, people feel something different in you. A gravity, a stillness they can't quite explain. In that stillness, you become unshakable. There's another truth. Perception matters more than truth itself. You can be good, capable, and genuine, but if you don't look like it, if your presence doesn't communicate it, the world won't believe it. People don't see your intentions. They see your signals. They see how you walk into a room, how you hold your gaze, how you recover after being challenged. That isn't vanity. It's psychology. Your posture, your timing, your tone, they're all languages of power. The most magnetic people aren't necessarily the most talented. They've simply mastered how to frame their reality. Appear intentionally. Let your stillness speak louder than your words. Because in the eyes of the world, perception is often the battlefield where truth is decided. And through all of this, discipline remains your quiet backbone. In a world addicted to reaction and performance, discipline is rebellion. It's not loud, not flashy, it whispers. It's the calm rhythm of someone who doesn't need to prove anything anymore. You move slower, think clearer, and act only when it matters. You no longer chase power. You embody it. You don't argue for respect. You live in a way that makes it inevitable. Real power is almost invisible. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply is. The loud win attention, but the calm win time. Maybe power has always made you uncomfortable. Maybe the word ruthless still feels wrong in your mouth. That's okay, because this was never about becoming cruel. It's about becoming conscious. The world doesn't need more manipulators. It needs people who understand manipulation and therefore can be manipulated. It needs people who can stay soft without being used, kind without being controlled, strong without losing their soul. So if you're tired of being overlooked, stop playing fair with people who are playing games. If you're tired of feeling invisible, stop explaining your light to those committed to their darkness. And if you're tired of giving endlessly, remember this: the most powerful thing you can ever do is walk away without losing your peace. Because true power isn't loud, it's quiet. It's the certainty that you no longer need anyone's permission to exist fully. And when that moment comes, when your silence finally speaks louder than their noise, you realize you were never powerless. You were simply learning how to hold your power softly. If you felt this truth, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to someone who still believes being good will protect them. Because niceness without awareness isn't purity, it's self-betrayal.